Hi guys, this is Raquel with Paintsandglitter.com, and I'm coming to you just to show you a quick project share and the assembly of a little box from the cartridge in Design Space called Wild Card. And it's this little box here that I'm going to be working on. I've gone ahead and already placed the paper on the inside that I wanted to coordinate with my project here, which is a really lovely rose colored paper with hearts and swirls, and I've distressed the edges with the Cricut tool here that you can get that has the blades on the 4 little sides there, and it's a great distressing tool. And I've distressed all the other papers that I wanted to, but I just wanted to show you guys this little box. I wanted to use it to house a little card that I'm giving away, and I thought it would be excellent because it has this little not a gusset, but it's a box. So in any case, it's about 3/4, yes, 3/4 of well, actually, let me see here. Yes, it's about 3/4 of an inch wide there, and I thought, okay, that's going to be excellent to house this little dimensional card. But when I selected it, and it is from the Wild Card cartridge, as I mentioned before, when I selected it, I ungrouped it. Let me change my lighting here. I apologize for that. I ungrouped it on the Design Space, the canvas, and then what happened was that for some reason all of the score lines came out as cut lines. I don't know why. So it was, I guess, a happy little accident, because what ended up happening was that it cut the box in a bunch of different pieces rather than score it and then cut the surrounding areas. So I figured, you know what, that's not bad, because what I will do is then I will decorate the outside of the box. So I've gone ahead and cut the accidental piece, if you will, and I'm going to be layering that on top, and I'll show you what I mean. I hope my lighting is not too horrible here. I'm trying to, maybe that's better, trying to make it so that you can see here. I'm just going to adhere this with I did get some art glitter glue from May. It's my first time ordering it, and I'm happy with it, but I do have to say that I'm partial to my Scotch quick dry adhesive for the simple reason that it is not as fluid as this adhesive. So if you have a preference for adhesive that's a bit more wet, I would compare it to lotion versus cream. If you're a lotion person versus cream person, then you're gonna like the art glitter glue. It does adhere beautifully, so I don't have any issues with that. But if you're like me and like a consistency that's a little bit less fluid, then I recommend the Scotch adhesive. I did want to give this a try since so many people have recommended it, and also to you know, I was thinking, you know, I'm gonna make the purchase anyway, so why not support May in her channel, because I've seen a couple of her videos. I can't, you know, I can't say that I watch them all because I'd be lying, but I think she's a phenomenal person. So okay, so here's what I decided to do was to go ahead and just use these pieces, and I did distress all of the edges because that's a look that I was going for, and I think I'm gonna like this a lot because it's just like, you know, putting a puzzle together basically, but then I'm gonna have those edges of the box that are all going to be distressed, which I think gives it a unique look, if you like that sort of thing. I think I forgot to distress one of them, so I will do that. And then I'm going to show you what else I've done, because I'm not just going to show you how I glue a box together, because that would be utterly boring, right? But so basically this is just, if you've never seen this tool in action, you just literally just pull it, drag it along the edge of your paper, and I try to be a little gentle when I'm using it, because you can really destroy the paper if you're too animated with it, I guess. Can't be too rough. So, all right, so now I'm lining this up here, and I'm trying to work as fast as I can without being messy. Oops. And I say messy, and there I drag my paper, right? Okay. So, the good thing about this is that I had already pre-scored my folds. And here, what I'm doing here is that whenever you layer paper on paper, it has that tendency to pull back. And I think I put too much adhesive there because I keep forgetting that this is much more fluid than what I'm used to. Here we go. And of course, if I change the tip on that and get the needle tip, I'm probably going to like this adhesive more. So, all right. I always keep a cloth nearby to clean up any messes. Now, here's the interesting part here. What I decided to do was to use a piece of vellum here, and hopefully that's not too bright. It's pearlescent, and what I did was I ran it through my Spellbinders machine and embossed it with the Anna Griffin embossing folder that looks like this. I think it's called Damask. I can't remember now, but I thought that would give it a really pretty look. Since it has this little window here, I thought it would look really nice to have that there on the opening, since it's a winter theme. As you can see, the glitter paper has snowflakes on it. So that's what I'm going to do, but for this I'm going to add dry adhesive, and I think, yes, I want to put it on the paper, on the vellum. And vellum always looks beautiful when it's embossed, particularly if it has any sheen to it. This one came like this, and it's one of my favorite types of papers to use, but it can get pretty pricey, so I recommend, you know, if you can get it on sale or purchase it online, it makes projects look, I don't know, like $1,000,000 if you ask me, because I just think it's really beautiful. And you can ink it also. If I were to have added ink to that embossing folder, I could have easily inked up this vellum to give it a different look also, but I like the pearlescent finish of this vellum, so I'm just going to keep it as it is. And especially since I'm going with this winter theme. And this is a little project for a swap that I'm participating in. And I'm hoping to publish this maybe after the sweet lady receives it. Okay, so to cover up these edges here, what I'm going to do is I have a cutout of the same box here, and I'm just going to reinforce it like this just to give it a more finished look. It's not necessary, but if you're anything like me, you're gonna want to do this to make it look finished. So yeah, I'm calling this a happy accident. I think, you know, sometimes I know I can get frustrated when things don't go my way, especially, you know, if I cut paper the wrong way, but I try to make the most of it, right? Okay, so I think this is looking really sweet now. And what I can do now is, and I was thinking of covering the back also, even though I had stamped it with my information. I think it looks rather incomplete if I leave the back as it is. So I am going to cover it up, finish it all off, and then I did stamp the card with my information, so I think it'll be fine. And let's see, that'll go here. It's going to be quite thick once I'm done with it, but that's precisely what I wanted. And I like that it has that little notch there also. And I think what I'm going to do is use dry adhesive to seal the box. I'm going to be using 2 of these because this is only 1/4 of an inch wide. Okay. So now I'm just going to remove the backing here. And I want to make sure that this is lined up really well. These can be a little bit tricky depending on how thick the paper is, but it should line up perfectly. And if it's, let's see here. Yep, just like that. Okay, that's going to be perfect. So now what I will do, here we go, is try to just reinforce that a little bit. But because that adhesive dries so quickly, it's perfect. And any lift on there is just a tiny, tiny bit because of the, what do you call it? The distressing, I'm sorry. I'm concentrating, so I can't speak. Okay, so there's that. And hopefully the light wasn't completely off, but there's my little box. I love the way it came out. I am not going to adhere that double-sided paper here on the top because I want it to be thinner there, so that I can open and close it. So let me take a look here actually and make sure that I don't have to take these little tabs off. I hope I don't have to, but yeah, you know what, because I made it so thick, I might have to take off the little tabs so that I can close the box because it's a little too tight now. Huh. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do. So here's what I can do is I can trim that little corner a little bit. There we go. At like a 45-degree angle. And that should allow me to close the top. There we go. And no one's the wiser. Here we go. Alright, so that's all set. And the reason I wanted to make the box, of course, was to house the little card that I mentioned. And that's this little card here that I made using a gorgeous girl image called the White Rabbit, I believe. I'm just going to zoom in there. So I colored her in using embossing powder for the image in a very dark navy. And then I used my Prismacolor pencils on her face and her little outfit. I used markers on. I also used okay, so I used markers and pencils on her hair. I'm sorry. I used silver in her hair also. And then this little stamp here I've had for a while, and it had little, it's a collection of snowflakes. So let me see if I can So I use these stamps here. You can see those. And that's what I use to create the background of that you see in gray and in white. So what I did was I distressed the background paper with oxide ink, I'm sorry, and then stamped the little snowflakes in pink and in white, and then embossed those with different embossing powders. One of them is called Snow by Recollections, and the other one is called Glitz. I also embossed the little snowflake stamps on the pink paper. This was, I stamped it in silver, and then just put a little pink gem that was given to me by a friend there. And then I added a little snowflake embellishment here, a little bow with the little heart and little sequins throughout, and then it opens like so. This is also from the Gorguss Girl stamp collection, and I just continued the theme on the inside with the gray and pink, and that's what's going to go inside here. So I'm going to zoom back out again so you guys can see. And I think it's going to be perfect for the card, and it is. It's a 4-inch card. I used the Spellbinders Dies to make it, and I've shown these before, but they look like this. And I just folded the paper to make the card and then layered the other pieces on top. So I'm probably going to be adding a ribbon to that before I mail it out, and then that will be going together with some other goodies. I might as well show you. I thought that would be a cute little addition. It's pink, and I also made, I found this cute little stocking. It is so girly, I could not pass it up. So what I did was I embellished some packaging for some cute little pens, and I also, let's see, what else did I put in here? There are some little Dex cards that I can't show you that are in here, and they all got the theme of the banners and little tags that I made, and then the little poinsettias that I decided to go with pink and greens to make everything match. This was just another little topper that I made with 2 Dex cards. I stamped the phrase believe, and then the little lamb, and another poinsettia there. I actually also, this poinsettia cuts, it has a die that cuts the outside perimeter of the poinsettia, so what I did was that I used that on the Dex card. I cut it and then I adhered it as if it were background. And then I also dry embossed using that same die. I embossed the shape, hopefully you can see that. I dry embossed the shape of the poinsettia onto the card to give it more texture. And then I used distressed stickles on that. And, oh, and then I made the exchange was to be 3 Dex cards and a Christmas ornament. So I decided to make the ornament, of course. I think that was the requirement to make it. So I decided to make it with another Gorguss Girl stamp in pinks and grays. So I used the Martha Stewart punch there for the snowflakes. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oops, apologize for moving the camera, but there's the little snowflakes I glittered up and then added pearls to. And then I stamped her on the white background and used the same technique of distressing the background and then stamping the little images there. I forget what those are called. So I don't know, I'm at a loss for words. And then I added the little pom-pom there with a snowflake and bow, and the background I used this striped paper for, and then again the little poinsettias to just dress up the packaging there. So I hope that she likes it. This is the back. It's got my information and then the striped paper, and it's a little different than the traditional Christmas colors, but I just wanted to keep it very feminine and soft. And so yeah, this is going out in the mail today, a couple little goodies, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think. If you have any questions for me, you can reach me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram as Paints and Glitter, and I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Bye.